the first hint of dawn, while Medina was still cloaked in sleep, whispers of a plan started to circulate, a plan tied to an incredible secret. There was a man, Hazrat Uthman, who knew something so extraordinary it had the power to transform the fate of empires. What was this extraordinary secret that Hazrat Uthman carried? Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, Nasiha Studio. Today in this video, we will be talking about the third Caliph of Islam, Uthman ibn Affan, also known as Hazrat Usman. Hazrat Uthman ibn Affan is one of the highly respected figures in Islamic history and was the third leader of the Muslim community. During his time, he faced many difficult situations, but also achieved a lot. Before Islam, Arabia was filled with different tribes that were always fighting each other. But when Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, introduced Islam, it brought all these tribes together under one belief. Hazrat Uthman was one of the first people to follow Islam. He was known for his strong beliefs and also for giving a lot of support and advice to help Islam grow. Early life and embrace of Islam. Uthman was born into a rich family and had a comfortable early life. But he felt something was missing because the people around him worshipped many gods, and this didn't feel right to him. He started looking for answers and found them when he decided to follow Islam, thanks to his good friend Abu Bakr. This choice changed his life, and he became very devoted to Islam and its leader, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Marrying Ruqayyah and then Kulthum, who were the Prophet's daughters, made him an important person in the Muslim community. Role in the early Muslim community. Hazrat Uthman's migration to Abyssinia marks one of the earliest sacrifices he made for Islam. Fleeing persecution in Mecca, he and other Muslims sought refuge under a Christian king, showcasing the universality of the message of Islam and its appeal beyond the Arabian Peninsula. This was a testament to Uthman's deep faith and his willingness to endure hardship for his beliefs. His eventual migration to Medina further solidified his commitment to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the Muslim community. In Medina, Uthman's wealth and business acumen became crucial assets. He generously supported the Prophet and the Muslim cause, financing expeditions and aiding those in need. His most notable contribution was during the year of the drought, where he purchased and distributed caravans of grain at no cost to the beleaguered inhabitants of Medina. This act of generosity earned him the title of Ghani, the Generous, and demonstrated his unwavering commitment to the welfare of the Muslim community. His marriage to the Prophet's daughters, Ruqayyah and later Kulthum, after Ruqayyah's death, further intertwined his life with that of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. These marriages were not just personal bonds, but also signified the deep trust and affection the Prophet had for Uthman. His familial ties to the Prophet, peace be upon him, coupled with his moral virtues, positioned him as a key figure in the early Islamic society. Uthman's character was marked by an extraordinary sense of humility, patience, and a deep-seated piety. He was known for his quiet nature and for avoiding conflicts. His contributions were not limited to financial support. He also played a key role in mediating disputes and fostering unity within the Muslim community. These traits would later become crucial when he assumed the caliphate, facing the immense challenges of leadership in a rapidly expanding Muslim empire. Uthman as the third caliph. Upon the death of Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab, the Muslim community faced the daunting task of choosing a successor who could navigate the challenges of an expanding empire and internal dissent. Uthman was chosen through a meticulous selection process overseen by a council appointed by Umar himself. His election was a testament to his esteemed status within the community, his close ties to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his proven commitment to the ideals of Islam. Uthman's caliphate was a period of significant expansion and consolidation for the Muslim empire. Under his leadership, the empire extended into North Africa and the eastern reaches of Persia. These military campaigns not only spread the influence of Islam, but also brought vast territories under Muslim rule, contributing to the wealth and diversity of the Islamic empire. Uthman's reign saw the Muslim navy's inception, marking the beginning of Islamic maritime power. However, Uthman's tenure was not without its challenges. His policies, particularly those related to administrative appointments, drew criticism and led to unrest. Uthman favored members of his own family, the Umayyads, for key positions within the state, which some viewed as nepotistic and a departure from the meritocratic principles of his predecessors. This discontent culminated in widespread dissent, with factions within the empire calling for reform. Despite these challenges, Uthman's most enduring contribution was perhaps his initiative to compile the Quran into a single authoritative text. Recognizing the risk of variations and discrepancies in the Quranic recitation as Islam spread across diverse linguistic and cultural landscapes, Uthman commissioned a committee to compile the Quran. This effort ensured the preservation and uniformity of the Quranic text, a legacy that has endured for over a millennium. The compilation of the Quran into a single authoritative book is perhaps one of Hazrat Uthman's most remarking and enduring contributions to the Islamic faith and its followers. This monumental task was not just an administrative or scholarly endeavor, it was an act of profound religious significance that would shape the practice and preservation of Islam for centuries to come. Before Uthman's initiative, the Quran existed in various forms, memorized in the hearts of the believers, and written on disparate materials such as parchment, bone fragments, and palm leaves, while the integrity of the Quranic text remained intact through the meticulous oral tradition of the Muslim community. The rapid expansion of the Islamic Empire under Uthman's leadership brought forth new challenges. The Muslim Ummah had grown to include peoples of various cultures and languages, leading to variations in Quranic recitation and the risk of misinterpretation. Recognizing the critical need for a unified text, Uthman convened a committee led by Zayd ibn Thabit, a companion of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who had previously been involved in compiling the Quran during the Prophet's lifetime. This committee was tasked with collecting all existing copies and fragments of the Quran and verifying them against the memories of those who had directly received its verses from the Prophet himself. The criteria for inclusion were stringent, requiring a consensus among the Prophet's companions and the presence of written verses with at least 2 trustworthy witnesses. This process ensured the compilation's authenticity, with the committee rigorously cross-checking each verse to prevent any errors or omissions. Once compiled, Uthman ordered the creation of several copies of this authorized text, sending them to the major Islamic centers of the empire, including Mecca, Medina, Kufa, Basra, and Damascus. These texts served as the standard references for Quranic recitation and copying, ensuring the uniformity of the Quranic text across the vast expanse of the Muslim world. To prevent confusion and preserve the integrity of the Quran, Uthman also ordered the destruction of all other Quranic materials that did not conform to the authorized text. The impact of Uthman's initiative cannot be overstated. It not only preserved the Quran in its authentic form, but also ensured its consistency as Islam spread across diverse cultures and regions. This compilation became the definitive version of the Quran from which all modern texts are derived. Uthman's foresight and dedication to preserving the Quran safeguarded the Islamic faith from division and distortion, solidifying the Quran's role as a source of guidance, inspiration, and unity for Muslims worldwide. Uthman's contribution to the compilation of the Quran into a single book is a testament to his visionary leadership and his unwavering commitment to the preservation of Islamic teachings. This act of devotion and foresight ensured the consistency and purity of the Quranic message, reinforcing the unity of the Muslim community across generations. The fitna and martyrdom. The latter years of Hazrat Uthman's caliphate were marked by escalating tensions and unrest, a period that eventually led to one of the most tumultuous events in early Islamic history, his martyrdom. This period, known as the fitna or trial, was characterized by political, social, and economic strains that tested the unity and resilience of the Muslim community. Before the conflict, Uthman's policies, especially his appointments of family members to key provincial roles, stoked discontent among various factions within the empire. Critics accused him of nepotism and deviation from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him's example, particularly his perceived preferential treatment of the Umayyad clan. This dissatisfaction was compounded by wider social and economic grievances, including disparities in wealth distribution and the administration of newly conquered territories. The unrest culminated in a series of delegations from Egypt, Kufa, and Basra, converging on Medina, demanding redress for their grievances. Uthman, in a bid to quell the dissent, attempted negotiations and made several concessions. However, misinformation and mistrust fueled the conflict, leading to a hardened stance against the caliph. The siege of Uthman's house. The situation deteriorated further when armed rebels laid siege to Uthman's residence in Medina, cutting off his access to water and provisions. Despite the siege, Uthman remained steadfast in his refusal to resort to violence, emphasizing the preservation of Muslim unity over personal safety. He continued to engage in prayer and fasting, turning to Allah in his hour of need. During this time, Uthman received offers of support from notable companions, including Ali ibn Abi Talib, who proposed to dispel the siege by force. Yet Uthman chose a path of non-violence, determined not to be the cause of bloodshed among Muslims. He is reported to have seen the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in a dream, reassuring him of his place in paradise and advising him to remain patient. Martyrdom. Uthman's martyrdom came in the most tragic of circumstances. Rebels, having breached his residence, found him reciting the Quran. In his final moments, he was clutching a copy of the Quran, a symbol of his faith and the divine word he had worked so diligently to preserve. His assassination not only marked a moment of loss, but also set in motion a chain of events that would lead to deeper divisions within the Muslim community, eventually culminating in the first fitna. Impact of Uthman's martyrdom. Uthman's death sent shockwaves through the Muslim world. It marked the first time a caliph had been violently overthrown, challenging the community's cohesion and sparking a period of political instability and conflict. The events that followed his martyrdom, including the rise of Ali to the caliphate and the subsequent conflicts with Muawiyah, laid the groundwork for the Sunni-Shia schism, a division that would have lasting impacts on the Islamic world. His martyrdom also served as a catalyst for reflection within the Muslim community, prompting questions about leadership, justice, and the principles upon which the Islamic State should be governed. Uthman's legacy, therefore, is multifaceted, embodying both his contributions to the consolidation of the Quran and the complexities of his rule and its aftermath. The story of Hazrat Uthman's death reminds us of the tough times the first Muslims went through. He was very dedicated to Islam, choosing peace over violence, and worked hard to keep the Quran safe. Next, we'll look at what happened right after Uthman died, how different people view his time as a leader, and how he's still remembered in Islam today. Aftermath and historical perspectives. The aftermath of Hazrat Uthman's martyrdom was a critical juncture in Islamic history, marking the beginning of a period of upheaval and division within the Muslim community. This event not only led to immediate political instability, but also laid the foundations for long-standing sectarian divisions. The historical perspectives on Uthman's rule and his contributions to Islam have been varied and complex, reflecting the multifaceted nature of his legacy. Immediate aftermath. The assassination of Uthman triggered the first fitna, Islamic civil war, a devastating conflict that would pit Muslims against Muslims and set the stage for the eventual division into Sunni and Shia sects. The immediate reaction to Uthman's death was one of shock and confusion. The Muslim community was left leaderless, with a vacuum of power that needed to be filled swiftly to restore order and unity. Ali ibn Abi Talib, the cousin and son-in-law of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was elected as the fourth caliph. However, his ascension was fraught with controversy and opposition, notably from Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, the governor of Syria, and a relative of Uthman, who demanded justice for the murdered caliph. The ensuing conflict would lead to battles such as the Battle of the Camel and the Battle of Siffin, deepening the fissures within the Muslim community and contributing to the development of distinct Sunni and Shia identities. The martyrdom of Uthman became a rallying cry for those who opposed Ali's caliphate, with Muawiyah using it as a basis to challenge Ali's legitimacy and eventually establish the Umayyad Caliphate. Historical perspectives. Sunni perspective. In Sunni Islam, Uthman is remembered as one of the rightly guided caliphs, a man of deep faith and unwavering dedication to the principles of Islam. His efforts to compile the Quran into a single text are celebrated as a monumental contribution to the preservation of the Islamic faith. His rule is often viewed through the lens of the challenges he faced, including managing an expansive and diverse empire and dealing with internal dissent. The circumstances of his martyrdom are seen as a tragic consequence of political strife and not reflective of his piety or leadership. Shia perspective. Shia views on Uthman's caliphate are more critical, particularly regarding his governance and the appointment of his family members to positions of power. The Shia tradition emphasizes justice and the leadership of Ali, and Uthman's rule is often critiqued for its departure from these principles. However, the martyrdom of Uthman is still recognized as a pivotal moment in Islamic history, leading to significant turmoil and the eventual emergence of distinct Sunni and Shia identities. Western and secular perspectives. Western historical accounts of Uthman's rule have varied, with some scholars focusing on the administrative and military expansions of his caliphate and others highlighting the internal dissent and conflict that characterized his tenure. His initiative to compile the Quran is recognized as a significant achievement in the preservation of religious texts. The complexity of Uthman's rule is acknowledged, along with the broader implications of his assassination for the development of early Islamic society. Uthman's legacy. Uthman's legacy is a complex tapestry woven from his devout faith, administrative acumen, and the tumultuous period of his caliphate. His contributions to the Islamic Empire, both in terms of territorial expansion and the consolidation of the Quran, have left an indelible mark on Islamic history. The circumstances of his death and the ensuing fitna have been a source of reflection and analysis for scholars and believers alike, prompting discussions about leadership, justice, and the nature of authority. In Islam, his martyrdom underscores the challenges of governance within the rapidly expanding Muslim community and the importance of unity and justice in Islamic governance. Uthman's life and death continue to evoke a wide range of emotions and interpretations, reflecting the rich and diverse tapestry of Islamic history. Hazrat Uthman's personal life and characteristics. Hazrat Uthman, known for his humility, piety, and generosity, was a figure whose personal virtues were deeply intertwined with his public persona. His commitment to Islam was evident from the early days of his conversion, reflecting a profound spiritual depth and a steadfast resolve to uphold the principles of his faith. Devotion to Islam. From his early acceptance of Islam, Uthman's life was a testament to his unwavering faith. His willingness to sacrifice his wealth and comfort for the sake of the Muslim community demonstrated a remarkable level of devotion. Uthman's efforts in compiling the Quran into a single authoritative text underscored his foresight and commitment to preserving the unity and purity of Islamic teachings for future generations. Generosity and humility. Uthman was known as Al-Ghani, the generous, for his extraordinary acts of generosity. His wealth was a means of supporting the Muslim community, financing military campaigns, and aiding those in need. Despite his affluence, Uthman lived a life of simplicity and humility, often partaking in public labor and personally attending to the needs of the poor and destitute. Family life. Uthman's marriages, particularly to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his daughters Ruqayya and then Kulthum, signified his close personal and familial ties to the Prophet. These relationships exemplified his esteemed position within the early Islamic community and his deep personal connection to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Uthman's role as a husband and family man was marked by compassion, respect, and a commitment to the well-being of his family, reflecting the broader Islamic values of kindness and responsibility towards one's family. Relations with companions and community. Uthman's interactions with the Prophet's companions and the Muslim community were characterized by respect, patience, and a conciliatory approach. Even in the face of criticism and dissent, Uthman maintained a demeanor of patience and sought to address grievances through dialogue and compromise, emphasizing unity and cohesion within the Muslim Ummah. Friendship of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and Hazrat Uthman. The friendship between Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and Hazrat Uthman ibn Affan was characterized by mutual respect, deep affection, and profound trust, underscoring Uthman's integral role in the early Muslim community. Their relationship was cemented not only through familial ties, with Uthman marrying two of the Prophet's daughters sequentially, but also through several key events that highlight Uthman's dedication to Islam and his closeness to the Prophet. Marriage to the Prophet's daughters. One of the most significant aspects of their relationship was Uthman's marriages to Ruqayya and then Kulthum, the daughters of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. These marriages earned him the unique distinction of being called Dun Nurayn, or the possessor of two lights. this familial bond was a clear indication of the Prophet's trust and affection towards Uthman. When Ruqayya fell ill and passed away while the Prophet was preparing for the Battle of Badr, Uthman was excused from participating in the battle to tend to his wife, demonstrating the Prophet's compassion and understanding of Uthman's personal distress. Financial support for the Muslim community. Uthman's wealth and his willingness to use it for the benefit of the Muslim community were critical in the early days of Islam. One notable event was during the Hijrah migration to Medina, when Uthman purchased a well from a Jewish man to ensure the Muslim community had access to clean water, showcasing his generosity and concern for the welfare of the Muslims. This act, among others, was greatly appreciated by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, further strengthening their bond. Participation in the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. During the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, a pivotal moment in Islamic history, Uthman's role was instrumental. The Prophet sent Uthman as an envoy to the Quraysh in Mecca, due to his good standing with them, to negotiate terms and assure them of the Muslims' peaceful intentions for Umrah, minor pilgrimage. Rumors of Uthman's possible murder led to the Pledge of Ridwan, where Muslims pledged their unwavering support to the Prophet, demonstrating Uthman's central role in this defining moment. His safe return was a relief to the Prophet and the Muslims, highlighting the trust and reliance the Prophet placed in him. Support in the compilation of the Quran. Although this event took place after the Prophet's passing, it's worth noting Uthman's critical role in compiling the Quran into a single standardized text, a monumental task that preserved the sanctity and integrity of the Quranic message. This effort, indirectly tied to his relationship with the Prophet, was in line with the commitment to safeguard the teachings of Islam, a responsibility entrusted to all companions but fulfilled by Uthman in a manner that has had a lasting impact on the Islamic world. Mutual respect and affection. The mutual respect and affection between Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and Uthman were evident in their interactions. The Prophet was known to have said, "Should I not feel modest before a man around whom the angels feel modest?" This statement reflects the high regard in which the Prophet held Uthman, acknowledging his piety and humility. The friendship between Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and Hazrat Uthman was marked by moments of personal sacrifice, mutual support, and shared dedication to the cause of Islam. Through marriages, pivotal negotiations, and financial support, Uthman's commitment to the Prophet and the Muslim community was unmistakable. His actions not only demonstrated his unwavering faith, but also cemented his position as a key figure in the early Islamic period, whose contributions have left an indelible mark on the faith. This relationship, steeped in respect, trust, and mutual affection, stands as a testament to Uthman's significant role in the life of the Prophet and the early Muslim community. Hazrat Uthman's life story makes us think about what true leadership means, how important it is to stick to our beliefs, and why standing together is vital. When we wonder about the secret that made Uthman so powerful, it's not really a secret at all. It's the powerful impact he left behind. Uthman's strong faith in Islam was the core of his influence. It didn't just guide him, but it also brought people together during tough times. He was incredibly generous and always ready to help others. This kindness made people feel connected and supported each other, making the Muslim community stronger. One big thing Uthman did was compiling the Quran. This made sure the teachings of Islam stayed the same for generations. It was a huge contribution to Islamic civilization. But what really stands out about Uthman is how he led. He handled tough situations with wisdom and care, always making sure things were fair. He was willing to sacrifice his own comfort for the greater good. Even after his death, Uthman's story reminds us to think about what we're willing to give up for what we believe in. His life teaches us to be strong, stick together, and always have faith, no matter what challenges we face. And that's a wrap on our journey through the amazing life of Hazrat Uthman. Thanks for tuning in to learn about this important figure in Islam. If you enjoyed this video and found it interesting, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more content celebrating the Islamic heritage. Your support really helps spread these important stories and teachings. We hope that Allah brings peace, happiness, and success to you and your family.